Hi, and welcome to the End Times Guide podcast. My name is Lee. Great to have you along for the ride today. It is a bit of an overcast day, but I tell you what, I'm in Canada heading north up to Prince George. It's going to be a quiet, relaxing day. I'm very, very grateful that God has put me in this place. When we put our faith in God, take our eyes off ourselves, and put our lives in the hands of God, He will orchestrate things better than you could have ever imagined. It will work for His glory, and you will find yourself in a place of peace and rest, a very good place. Don't contend with the world. Don't strive to please God. Just surrender. Just put yourself in God's hands. Lord, thy kingdom come, thy will be done right here and right now. I'm really amazed at what's going on in the southern United States right now. I believe it was in Kentucky, an all out ban on abortion, even in rape and incest cases. The courage and audacity of the Christians there, I salute you. I pat you on the back, my dear brothers and sisters. God bless each one of you for your faithfulness. Pat Robertson of the 700 Club he's shaking his head over there. He's wagging his head and he's clucking his tongue. No, 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 that's too extreme. Well, I wish he had more faith. I wish he had more faith because God can do what God can do. He takes whole armies, confuses them, turns them on themselves so that they destroy one another. God will fight the battle. We don't have to worry. We don't have to cluck our tongues and shake our heads and say it's too much. No. If we follow God, anything is possible. Mountains can move. Valleys anything is possible with God. You've heard the term in the Old Testament, the high places, where this is where Satan manifested himself most strongly in the high places. One of them was the god Molech. He was this 50-foot bronze bull that they would light a fire down at the base and get that idol glowing hot. That bronze idol would begin to glow as the day went by. And by evening time, it was like a furnace, just glowing red. And they would take living babies and set them in the bronze arms, which were red hot, glowing, and the babies would wail and their bodies would just disintegrate basically and drop through the arms into the fire below. And this is what was called, maybe you're familiar with the term, causing their children to pass through the fire. And they would take dogs, living dogs, and throw them into the fire at the base of Molech. And this is where the dogs would gnash their teeth because even while they were burning alive, they could smell the seared flesh and they were gnashing to bite the meat even while they were dying. And this is where Jesus gave his description to us of hell, the wailing and the gnashing of teeth, because there in that high place, the mothers would wail and the dogs would gnash their teeth. And this was literally all about hell. And this was a high place, a place of worship to Molech. Now you're wondering right now, you started off talking about abortion, and now you're talking about high places. Well, a high place is a place of worship to Satan. And when Israel had a good king, that good king went around and tore down the high places. That good king in his heart said, no more sacrifice to Satan. And I want you to be aware yourself that there are high places here on the earth today, more so than ever before. Some of them are obvious, some are not. Now, Satan loves titles. He loves lofty, important sounding titles. This is the way he works today. The American Civil Liberties Union is a glorious title. It sounds very noble, but it's nothing more than a branch of Satan's ministry in this world. The Democratic Party, it sounds like a legitimate national political party, but it's not. It is another branch of Satan's ministry. The centers of higher education all have lofty titles, UC Berkeley and all the rest. And it's nothing more than a branch of Satan. It's one of Satan's ministering arms. He's like an octopus with a million arms reaching all over the place. Planned Parenthood is another. It sounds very nice. Oh, Planning Parenthood sounds noble, sounds wise. Well, it's nothing more than a high place. And so are all abortion clinics. They are high places where innocent blood is shed on the altar for Satan. These are our high places. And we have to realize that. And we have a good king. We have good people that God is raising up who are tearing down the high places. We don't need to shake our heads and back away and cluck our tongues and say it's too extreme. God isn't looking for cowards. God is looking for warriors. God said, I have many people in this town. I forget if it was the Apostle Paul was worried, or I can't remember who it was, but God assured him, I have many people in this town. And when I look at the movement of Kentucky, Louisiana, Alabama into a pro-life, anti-abortion stance, I can hear God saying, I have many people in these states. And man, it makes me want to move there. It makes me want to be around Christians who have a desire to glorify God, the courage and conviction to go and tear the high places down. God bless these brothers and sisters. I'm excited. It gives me hope. I live in Canada. You know what? There are no laws against abortion in Canada. No one says anything about it. I live in a nation of cowards, absolute cowards. We have people who do march, they do pro-life marches, and I hope America's courage will be seen and will rub off on Canada, that more will be said and more will be done, because it's very, very disappointing to live in Canada. We have a terrorist for a prime minister who is funding Al-Qaeda and all kinds of terrorist outfits, but he doesn't have any money in the books to look after our vets. They haven't had a pay raise in, I think, 8 years or more. Grocery prices in the last 10 years have doubled at least. And he just can't help them out. But I tell you what, if you're a Muslim family immigrating to Canada, we have a lot of money for you. There's no problems there. You'll get the red carpet treatment. And this is what I live in Canada. So when I look south of the border and I see the courage, the conviction of my brothers and sisters in Christ, I am praying for you. I am cheering for you. I love you. I'm just so thankful to see your strength and your will to tear down high places. And may it spread. This is how revival happens. This is how change comes, when we get sick and tired of being victims and start to take God seriously and step out looking for his grace. I just want to say today, God bless you, brothers and sisters. Carry on. Keep up the good work. There are people on the front lines. One is Abby Johnson, an ex-Planned Parenthood employee who turned her life around. By the power of God, her life was turned around, and she is now working against abortion. God bless you, Abby Johnson. Activist mommy, I can't remember her name. You can find her on Facebook. Another very, very, you know what? God has manifested strength and grace in this woman to be a firebrand in his hand, and it is incredible. I'm excited. May God send more into the mission field. The fields are ripe unto harvest, and it is time to let our light shine. God bless you.